We're here to shed some light on some of the common myths of eating disorders in athletes.
Another common myth that we hear often is that eating disorders are not common in athletes. And truth is, there are studies that show that athletes are 2 to 3 times more likely to develop an eating disorder. And the actual characteristics that make someone an athlete are the factors that cause them to be at a higher risk for developing an eating disorder.
Disorders. One of the myths is that only women and female athletes get eating disorders. And that's very far from the truth. And we find there are many different sports and many different athletes that struggle with eating disorders, especially those athletes that have different weight classes. So we'll see a lot of boxers and wrestlers. They'll end up coming and see us. And then gymnasts, figure skaters, people that have aesthetic sports that often think, oh, I have to get to a certain size or shape.
Another common myth that I hear a lot is that weight is the most important factor for performance. And we have a dietitian that we work with at Walden who has shared a lot of research on the fact that this is just not true, and that in reality athletes should be fueling not only just for their performance but for life.
There's also a myth that many athletes feel that these rigid behaviors and these sharp changes in their weight or their size or shape are really helping their performance. I mean, there are study after study has been done to show that it only compromises athletic performance. So these athletes are working very hard and their intention is to get better, but their times get slower, they get injuries like stress fractures, they start passing out at practice. They really don't have the same bandwidth to even focus on the coaching that they're getting.
Another myth of treating eating disorders in athletes is that you would have to stop training entirely. We don't believe that in the GOALS program. So in some cases, there may be opportunities for people to continue their training while they're in treatment for their eating disorder. We want to help you figure out how to do that in a healthy way. The GOALS treatment program at Walden Behavioral Care is built specifically for athletes. If you or somebody you know is an athlete struggling with an eating disorder, please be in touch.